Make a motion for discussion purposes?
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion that we make a finding of inconsistency with the comprehensive plan and make a recommendation of denial.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a
Purposes
motion
of
by
discussion.
Commissioner Ween, a second by Commissioner Barrett. And
That's for
open it
discussion
For
purposes.
discussion. Any other comments? I've had mine.
I just have to second your comments. I find it frustrating that the schools continue to try to locate in areas that are just not well suited. And I understand their constraints and the amount of acres they need, and they're trying to follow population trends and still be responsible with taxpayer dollars when they're making a purchase. And I get all that, but this just is a recurring theme. We keep seeing schools come up in areas that are just not suited. So I have to echo your comments.
Commissioner Glostany?
I agree, and I'm concerned about the compatibility issues and the lack of infrastructure. And I'm really, I guess my biggest disappointment is that the PD that was brought forward to us didn't even, I think it made a very feeble attempt to address the compatibility issues. I don't know what more to say than it's a joke to assume that a PUD with 25 or 30-foot buffers in a rural area would even be reasonably appropriate to have brought forward. And I just, you know, and the infrastructure and saying, oh, we don't do that, put it on the county, that's a big concern of mine. However, you know, I was willing to consider, you know, options for compatibility, and I made a huge list, and I'm sure the school board would much rather make their own recommendations than mine. But I do have a list of compatibility measures that I would think would be appropriate if it were to go that way.
Any other?
Yeah.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yeah, I would say I come from a rural community, and I've dealt with narrow roads and school buses that they're talking about here. I'm sorry, you can do all the studies you want to. There is a thing called reality versus studies, and I've battled with the school board before, and I'm not opposed to them. They do great things, but I'm sick and tired of the school board not working with the communities. And this is an area that I've not been in, but just from the photographs that I see, this is a very rural community. And I see that the bulk of the people want to keep their community in that way and put a school back there off of that. And then when the gentleman made the statement, we don't build sidewalks, let me tell you something. I live within a 2-mile area of a school now, and we had 2 accidents from kids walking in the road because the school board would not put in the sidewalks. The citizens of Orange County, through grants and stuff, had to fund that, and I'm over that, and so I can't support this. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Ween?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to say. I was on this board back in 2008 when the first time the West Orange High came up to us, and we defeated that for a number of reasons. And I think the county commission defeated it too. And then the school board went away, and I would have expected that they would have gone and found another site, and for some reason they didn't. And then 5 years later, they came back with the exact same site, and their argument was, we're running out of time, and we have to pass this because we don't have any other place to go, and it's the kids' education now. And that was the argument that they made in the last year or two. And I think that was a heavy-handed argument. And what I heard today, and I have great respect for Mr. Smith. I've known him. He was the first guy that oriented me when he was working here and I first joined this board. But the argument that we need to build this in 2 years because we're running out of time, because it's the kids' education, I don't like this tactic on the part of the school board. They had plenty of time to try to find a place. They certainly have the resources to find an alternate location. I look at our materials and I see that on all sides of this, single-family houses, vacant land, and it's zoned R2, A2, 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 and you're going to plop a school for over 1,000 kids right in the middle of this. And I hear these experts talking about all the infrastructure changes that they're going to have to make just to make this thing fit. It's a square peg in a round hole. This is not what you want to do. These animals that they've been showing us pictures of have a right to their habitat also. So this is not an appropriate, compatible place to put this. And then to say, well, we have to have this in 2 years because we don't have any other place to put these kids, that's not a good tactic on the part of the school board. So the answer is no. Find a better place. Therefore, I renew my motion.
Commissioner Quintero?
I would just say, I wish I wish that I had heard of a solution here, or, rather than just say, no, I can't agree to this. I wish there was a solution, because it's obvious to me that there's a great need for this school. That being said, I do agree with what all of the commissioners have said here, and I think this is one great big square peg in a round hole. I have a major compatibility issue here, and I cannot support it.
Okay, anything else?
I move to call the question.
Commissioner Curry?
And I share the same with my colleagues here of the concerns. And I see both ends. I see the great need for the students, and then I also see the concerns and understand the concerns that the residents have. And again, I haven't been in that area, but just the photos alone really show me what you're trying to protect, and that stands for something. So I do, as Commissioner Contreras says, is wish that there were some alternatives, wish that there were more studies done. I see the issues with the roadways, the traffic and transportation. Without those resolutions in place, I can't support it.
Okay, we have a motion on board. We
Call
have
the
a
question.
second. All those in favor say, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 All opposed? The motion passes to deny. Okay, thank you. We're going to